The sweet sounds of blues. You gotta love it. Love me some R&B, folks. Love me some R&B. How we doing? How we doing? Welcome everybody to the Humpday Happy Hour Hangout, the 4-H Club here at the Director's Garage. Atrium, open back, in honor of my reviewing of that amp right there. That is the Aegis, which you might recognize in the background. I'll turn it on just for posterity, just to let you see it glowing a little bit. Then I got to turn it off because it's going to get hot as hell in here. Oh man. Okay, so I'm just trying to check on my. I'm going to see if this is working this week because it's been. There we go. Oh, got to turn the volume down because I'm going to get a feedback. Oh wow. Hey, I think I got the lighting worked out. I'm going to save this. No, I can't save it, but I'll save it later. Save this setup. Oh, I like the camera today. Okay, we're in good shape. It's been a little disappointing the last couple weeks. I've had some level issues. Crazy. So I've had a lot going on. We've got a new headphone release today. I don't know if you caught this. I'll talk about it in a second. IEM. And, but did the big show yesterday, did tons of views, like one of my higher viewed. You guys always show up for the big stuff, the shit that costs a ton of money, y'all come on board for. That was a big show too. That was a lot of fun to put together. It was a lot of fun to make, and I am having a blast doing some listening sessions with them. I've put it aside for the rest of the week. We're now back on the Aegis because the Aegis back here from ZMF, that is going to be the subject of the next Director's Garage episode. It's going to be a full review of that thing, and I've been taking notes for a couple weeks now, so I'm going to have a lot to say about it. And if there's anything you want to talk about, any of the stuff from the episode yesterday, I have a couple of clarifications to make, things that I maybe got, I don't know if I got it wrong, but I got it not 100% correct. I'll talk about that in a second, since I got to refresh my memory. I'm just trying to remember where everything is. If you have a viewer system and you want to show it off on the show today, there's the email. directorsgarage@gmail.com, and I will show off your system on this live stream right here. I got enough time. We got nothing but time to burn, don't we? So I've got some stuff for sale. I made a sale. I sold the Bakoon 13R to a viewer, and that arrived at his hometown today. So that's good. I needed to clear some stuff out. I've got more stuff I need to clear. I've listed the Zähl HM1 on Headphone. It's just time to start clearing stuff out. I'm even considering the KGS SHV. I'm going to try and hold on to that for a little bit longer, but if an offer came in for it, I wouldn't necessarily say no way. Got to clean some stuff out. LCD4 still for sale. A lot of stuff. I'm just trying to move some product out to clean things up back here and make room for whatever's next. And I have, I think you can read the tea leaves and understand where my thinking is at on that. But I don't want to give it all away up front. I mean, come on. Where's the fun in that? Let's see. Let's talk about the new headphone that just came out today. This is a new release. It's in the somewhat affordable category for a change. That's odd for this show, I know. Let's go to the, it's from 64 Audio. It's called the Aspire. And I can't tell you the number of products named Aspire that are on the entry level. It's like it's aspiring to be something bigger than maybe it is. I don't know. I always find humor in that name for some reason. But let's check it out. I have not even looked at this because I just got the memo, but I didn't check it out. Aspire 4, that implies that there will be 4 drivers in it, I'm guessing. World-class sound! With live music at the forefront of our tuning criteria. So they designed these to go for live, go with a live audience. Whatever. You're like a pro. What's in it? What's in it, boys? Tell us. 1 dynamic driver down low, 2 mid-balanced armatures, and 1 high-balanced armature driver. So it's a very conventional setup for a 4-driver array. And they look awfully snazzy, kind of in the 64 audio vein. And yeah, these are kind of nice, and they're a good price, $8.99. I'm kind of, you know, I'd be interested in hearing these sometime for the heck of it. It would be kind of fun. Not sure it's going to be a go-to for me for everything because I've got a lot of higher-end pairs here, but I'm always down. I always root for any company coming out with some new product. I want to hear it, and I want to be able to tell people that it's a great product sometime. You know, got to root for guys. You know, got to hope that I want to see people succeed. I want to see people wowing us because that pushes the bar up for everybody else. Guys like Ryan Dietz. That's why we cheer for those guys, because they're challenging the bigger manufacturers. You got to do better because look where the bar is now. You know what I mean? Love that. Private says SUSVARA or not again. Yeah, we did that one. We did this episode last week. I kind of gave my thoughts on the new SUSVARA, and you know, I know there's a lot of R&D that goes into probably years of them developing this product. So the first round of them are going to be at full price, and anybody who wants to adopt, but there's just a couple of questions out there. You know, we were talking in the chat for yesterday's episode about you know, or maybe it was last week's. Somebody put some comments down below. They were like, well, you know, the thought that, you know, the worry that the SUSVARA can break, you know, is not founded if you drop them. And I'm like, well, I got a lot of sharp edges around. I mean, if I drop something on one of these fins over here and it's not protected, I got a problem. So there's some things we want to know about this SUSVARA. I did mention last week, it bothered me that it was a silver driver, yet they're charging more. Silver is cheaper than gold. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not making a better headphone. I'm just saying, well, you're downgrading the quality or the preciousness of the metal. The cost of the metal has dropped dramatically if you go from gold to silver, dramatically, and you know, you're charging $2,000 more. What's that about? You know, certainly R&D plays a part in that, but $2,000. You haven't changed the yoke at all, haven't changed the headband at all, haven't changed the strap at all. You just changed the drivers out. Just raises some questions, some things we want to know about. We also want to know how much are they, you know, if they are better than the existing SUSVARA, how much better are they than the existing SUSVARA? We've had reports that the treble's not as open, which is kind of interesting, because the whole point of removing the grills was to make it more open. So, but you don't know who's doing the review. You know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. But it's exciting when the top dog comes out with a new topper dog, or the tops. Sorry, I get a lot of work stuff still going on here. Neil Snyder wants about $12,500. Oh, Neil. Only if I can double down and get half that. About this SUSVARA, I thought you sold yours. It's nice to see you still have it. Yeah, I did sell it, and I sent it on its way. And this kind of will tell you. Oh, I got to answer something real quick. But I got to get this up here because if we're going to talk about it, I got to talk about it. So I'll just address this and let you guys think about it for a second. On this driver right there is a micro scratch. It's a small scratch, but it's a scratch. And the guy at the time got it for a pretty good price. It was just over $4,000. And he said, well, I'm not happy because it's got a scratch on it. And I said, well, okay, send them back. Like, I don't want anybody unhappy, and you're buying from me, so I know I can't discount the way, you know, a lot of other people can discount, because I'm trying to keep the show going. So if you're not happy, I'm not going to let you sit there with a product you're unhappy about, because you're just going to get on social media and troll me, and that's going to look bad for the show. So I said, no. I said, send it back, and I'll refund your money. I refunded his money. I got my headphone back. And then I decided not to sell them, because I'm like, I got a couple of things in. I think it was right around the time the Enlium thing went down. And I just said, you know, now I was excited about the SUSVARA again, so I decided I would just keep it, you know, keep it around. Just 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right with you. Okay, sorry, I needed to answer something for work. It was regarding a piece that was getting cut today. Yeah, so that was the deal. So it just goes to show you one thing. I'm going to stand by anything I sell you if you happen to buy from the Director's Garage sale. But you know, that's just that's the way I sleep at night. And I'm all about, in this business, I'm trying to improve everybody's experience in the hobby. I want this to be enjoyable. I want this to be fun, and everybody have a good time. And I'm not in it to, you know, I'm not in it to make anybody unhappy. So there you go. Afternoon, says Ken Workshop. Ken and I have a secret meeting sometime this month. I won't tell when or say when or where. He knows the joke. Love the t-shirt. Yeah, Amazon special, folks. Go to Amazon. Get your concert t-shirts on very, very cheaply. Gene Fruit says his Exonic T2 that I shared pictures of a few weeks ago arrived today. 13-month wait seems to have been worth it. Man, Gene, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're having a good time with that. Yeah, that's just, man, anytime you get something new, it's like, oh, so great. Somebody was posting something, this is on Facebook, and it was in the 2-channel world, non-headphone. They posted like some ungodly speaker they bought, and they got nothing but flamed after putting it down there. And I was like, why would you do that to somebody? You know what I mean? Like, the only reason you're doing it is because you're jealous that he's got it, and you think he's flaunting it, but he's just excited. He just wants to share with, you know, the people that who've been sharing all their gear for a long time, and they just slammed the dude. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I just can't get on board with that. So bad. Neil Snyder is selling his Enlium AR23 for $3,800, pristine like new. Contact Neil if you want an AR23. Yes, but want more SUSVARA. More SUSVARA. Oh, SUSVARA all the time. It's right here, boys. Ready to go. Rocking some different pads on these. These are not the stock pads. I've got leather fenestrated, and I like them. I like them a lot on this headphone, for whatever reason. I have a pair of the originals. I just every now and then I change things up, and this is a pad that's really working for me. And these are from Bakoon Audio. The SUSVARA pad, my replacement SUSVARA pad. I really like their materials at Bakoon too. They have nice soft leather, just like Zach does at ZMF. When will the SUSVARA OG get priced at $2,500? Well, they're already down to like somebody had them down at $3,000. So I don't know if they'll come new at $2,500. They might someday. Who knows? I mean, SUSVARA could, or HiFiMan could decide to do that. But I can see a day when they're like, you know, 35 or something. You know, that'd be fine. But you know, I think it's I think you'll see them, they'll probably trickle it down at some point, I would think, if it depends on sales and if they want to keep making them, or they'll just discontinue them altogether. They could do either. Such a good headphone, though. I'd be surprised to just say we're done with this forever. But up to them. It's up to their business model. I was just reading something. This is sidetrack, and you know I go on sidetracks. But Rolex last year, and because headphones and watches have a lot in common. Both hold value. It's a very niche market, very premium market. If you go for the bigger stuff, just like in watches. But Rolex released. Now, Rolex has an authorized reseller department within Rolex. So you can buy a used Rolex watch from Rolex that's been authenticated and gone through. Kind of like buying a factory resold car. Remember, you know, you can go to Mercedes and they'll sell you a Mercedes-backed warranted car. Well, you can do the same thing with a watch with Rolex, which this is a knockoff. It's a cheap knockoff, guys. It's not real. So they came out with the Daytona Le Mans last year. And they said, so it looked like it was a special edition, but they said, no, we're making this. This is going to be a production run. So everybody was trying to get them. Everybody was trying to get them. And they can't produce them fast enough naturally. They're a small Swiss company. Their products trickle to the dealers. There's a wait on all of their hot watches. Anything that's expensive, you're going to wait for it with Rolex. You can wait 2 years for some of their models. Now you can go and get this model. This is the Explorer 2. It's a knockoff. You can go into Rolex and buy this right off the shelf right now. They've got them. But some of the models, like the Daytona, and then this special edition Daytona Le Mans, which is made out of white gold, $30-some thousand a copy, you have to, you're going to wait in line, and that could be a 2-year wait. So this year they canceled 10 months after. There's a point to this. Just stay with me. 10 months after they they introduced this Daytona Le Mans watch, they canceled it. They discontinued it. What do you think the value of those Daytonas did? Do you know they're selling for $200,000 a copy right now? Now, Rolex are basically going to be able to double dip because they have their own inventory that's still in stock that they're going to be able to sell gray market, and they have used people who trade their watch in, and they're going to be able to resell all of those at $200,000 a copy. That's a good way to increase your bottom line in very short order, isn't it? You're messing with your own supply and demand and the amount of desirability it has on the used market. That's really something. So I just have this idea, like, what if HiFiMan, like, they put out just this is our next big thing, and everybody's trying to get it, and then, they discontinue it, and then they sell them for a lot of money, and make a fortune on it, And I do know, I've heard stories that HiFiMan prices their stuff so high because they believe it makes it more desirable. That the people don't want a HiFiMan. People aren't as interested in a HiFiMan SUSVARA at $4,000, $3,000 as they are at $6,000. It makes it more elite to potential buyers. I've read where somebody had said that in an interview with HiFiMan. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've read, and it kind of makes sense to me. If you want to be the best, you kind of got to price yourself outside of what everybody else. And they were the first ones to get there to that $6,000 level. A couple other guys have joined them at there, but now they're at $8,000. So good luck, everybody. Hang on, I got to respond real quick, and then we'll get back to the chat real quick. Okay, so let's see, where were we at? Silver is harder to work with, and it's less ductile. The cost is irrelevant. It's far less than a gram. Okay, well that's a fair argument. That's actually a very reasonable argument. Private, whoever you are, it's very private. No, that's a fair thing. I was just commenting because it is significantly less expensive to and I don't know what the spillage is on that when they go to make that. If there's I don't know. It just seems a little odd that they're charging that much more. And then you're not getting grills with it. You're just getting cups, covers. I don't know. The whole thing is still like it. Look, I'm all for a better SUSVARA. No question about that. We all want the best of the best. We want it to all be good. But I do think that it's very healthy to ask good questions before you just jump in and give somebody $8,000 for a new headphone. I think that that's actually a smart thing to do. And there are guys who are just going to defend the SUSVARA to no end, and there are guys that are just going to bash the SUSVARA to no end. I try to ride the middle and just go, let's be sensible. Like, why is it costing $2,000 more? And why didn't they redesign the headband? Why did they not take have a chance to at least, you got a chance here. You're going to get to release this thing once. You had 7 years to work on it, and you couldn't come up with a better headband solution. It's not the best band. This is not the best solution. It's flexy. It feels cheap. You can do better. And I will hold them to that. I honestly believe that. They can do better. I mean, this is not good. This is not good for anything that costs as much as this costs. Granted, the money's in the driver. I get it, whatever. But I'm very disappointed that they did not take that opportunity. They could have really done something special here, and it kind of speaks of like, hey, we just phoned in the headband, guys. Sorry. Because I think that if I could challenge Ryan today. I could say, Ryan, can you come up with a yoke system? This is independent. This is all independent shit. This detaches these things there's no wires going through this at all. You just need to come up with a suspension method. I could issue a challenge to Ryan and say, hey, see if you can't come up with a better design than this, and he would blow us away. I guarantee you. He would come up with something that's innovative, that's clever, that's new, that you could just pull this off and put some new system on it, and it would be better than what it is. Wouldn't be rattly, wouldn't have any harmonic resonance. You could do that. He could do that. He could do that. I'm convinced he could. And why didn't SUSVARA? Why didn't Hi-Fi Man? Anyway, there you go. Another rant. But that said, I'm a huge fan, and I want to hear these things. I just have concerns, and I want to ask questions. I think it's healthy for all of us to challenge something. All right. Neil's new SUSVARA is for sale at $3,500. Wow, Neil, you're clearing house there, buddy. You want to move up, I guess. That's good. That's good, brother. Private, the gold or silver costs less than a couple of dollars. What counts is how hard to manufacture the drivers. Okay. I mean, yeah, and I don't know if I've never been to Hi-Fi Man's factory. I don't know if they're stamped drivers. I don't know if there's a machine that does it. I know Audeze, like there's a screening machine that does it. It's not like hard. Once they set the machine up, they just run them off. But I don't know if Hi-Fi Man does it the same way, if there's actual handwork involved. Dixter says, does the new SUSVARA unveiled come with the catgut headphone cable? I don't know. We haven't seen them. I don't know what they're going to ship with. No, I can't even say. I don't know. The price is not justified. Well, we'll see. If they're better, then maybe they are. Somebody's going to pay it. Somebody's going to buy these things. It might be Neil. Neil's counting his pennies, man. Selling everything off. I'm getting the new SUSVARA. I don't know. Price-wise, if the new ones are easier to drive, total price will be the same. And that's true. You've got to. It's the old dongle situation with Apple gives away the software for next to nothing, but you need the Mac to run them. The same difference. I talk too much. Me too. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Happy welcome to Wednesday. Got a busy back end of the week, and I have not shot the next episode yet. I'm still finishing the review. So I don't know if I'll get it out by next Tuesday. It might be a week from Tuesday. I also am starting to think, like, I don't know how, if anybody can help me with YouTube. Does it hurt yesterday's episode that I'm live streaming today? Would it be better if I dropped the episodes on Thursday and then live streamed on Wednesday, so there would be 6 days for that to be like the first thing on my channel? I don't know. I would love to know that stuff. Those are things that I just don't have time to research, and I'm just too busy trying to get the next episode out for y'all. The price of the SUSVARA Ultraviolet, I always see UV, I think Ultraviolet. UV could buy a tungsten DS and N8 tube amp and be done. Yeah, Ryan's like, I'll drink to that. Go ahead. He goes, that's my point. That's my point, boys. You just come here, buy yourself a killer amp, and you're good. Now you buy this thing, you may be chasing amps for a while to find out what pairs well with it. Here, you're one and done. Just buy something with a lot of power, you're good. And it'll run all your other headphones in addition to mine. I'm being Ryan's private salesperson right now. Did you notice that in recent video, great experience by the way, your white oh yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, I always wear, it's like I've done it my whole life. I've always worn a t-shirt under a t-shirt. I've always worn a white under a t-shirt. It's a habit. It's just like, it's where I'm more comfortable. I don't know. I'm weird. I'm weird. I mean, you say it's really odd. I tell you, I'm really odd. Just watch my show. Yeah, I know I have the sleeve. I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to be a fashion template. I'm not going to get accused of that anytime soon. And we're all friends here, so what the hell. Ken says he's curious if HiFiMan will do a trade-up program like they have in the past. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder, yeah, boy, you announced, and Ken, if they announce that, how many people are going to pull their SUSVARAs off the market that are trying to get rid of them? Someone killed the LCD4 when the LCD5 came along, so who knows what will happen with SUSVARA. Yeah, and the LCD4 is in some ways a better headphone than the LCD5. LCD5 has just a ton of resolution. It totally kills the LCD4 on resolution. The LCD4 is more musical, arguably. It's a more fun listening headphone. The LCD5 is a terrific headphone for like mixing or really analyzing what's there. That's a great headphone for that. But it's not my favorite headphone for, just kicking back and listening. It never was. But it's still a great headphone. It's got its place. Everything's got a place. Dixter says he can remember when a Rolex was $2,500 and that was an expensive watch. Now $50K. Oh God, you can go so expensive with Rolex. You can go over $100,000 if you get the one that's, one of those bejeweled things. It's amazing. You can, 10 grand is kind of like between 10 and 15 grand is where most of them sit that aren't precious metal. And then if you go to gold, it's going to be 30 to 50. Depending on white gold, what's in it, what the complications on the watch are. But 10 grand will get you into most of Rolex's lineup. 15 grand will get you into about 85% of their lineup, and then you go up from there. I bought a Rolex, I bought my first Rolex in, I think it was like 1994. I was dating this girl. Maybe I told this story before, but I was dating a girl, and we had been planning on going on vacation somewhere exotic. I don't know if it was Hawaii or if it was Bermuda or, God knows what. Fiji. Anyway, I had saved up a bunch of money, and I was going to take it, and then she dumped me. I was like, screw you, lady, I'm going to buy a Rolex. So I went down to Jewelers Row, which was a short walk from where I was living, and I bought myself a gold Rolex. It was a Datejust, which was like $3 grand, and I think that watch today, I still have it. I got married in that watch. I've had it for a long time. It's currently getting a little tweak. They sent it back to Rolex to get completely disassembled and, you know, they grease it all, polish it all up, and then they'll send it back. I pick it up later this week, but it's going to be like new again. Save the band. The band has been it's a little worn. But yeah, that watch would go for $6,000 today used. New to be about 99,000 or so, 9,500 I think. But I've had it forever, and I'll never sell it. It's just, it's been with me too long, you know. I've put links in, taken links out. Is it Fat Michael? Is it Skinny Michael? So funny. Gil Renard says, headphone subreddit. Oh boy, you guys got to explain Reddit to me someday. I don't understand it. Had a post a couple days ago claiming that the OG SUSVARA is already priced at $4,500 new in China. That wouldn't surprise me. I think that through dealers, you get, if you have a dealer that you know, if you have a dealer that you deal with a lot, they cut your price breaks on this stuff. Very, you know, if you're doing it, if you're buying and selling regularly, just like watches, you rarely will pay retail, except for Rolex. Rolex Daytona is $275,000. Maybe that's for that Le Mans version. You can actually buy, and this is the problem of the market right now. People are going, $13,000, $14,000 will buy you a new Daytona, steel Daytona, which you can turn around and sell for 25 or 30. Okay, so people are just flipping. They're getting in line, buying a Rolex. Another one is the Pepsi bezeled GMT. It's Watch Talk today. Well, who knew? The GMT Master 2 with the Pepsi bezel, which is the blue on top, red on the bottom, or red on top, blue on the bottom. I have a replica of that one. But you can buy it for $10,000. That's what Rolex will sell it to you for if you're lucky enough to get your hands on one, and you can turn around and flip it for $25,000. They're selling for that right now. It's starting to come down a little bit. The market was, and we had a huge bubble during the pandemic because everybody had all this idle time and they were all watch shopping on the internet, and it drove the prices through the ceiling for this stuff. It's a lot less now, and it's going to be more reasonable coming forward. Anyway, love me a Rolex, especially a no date sub. I've just got an Explorer 2 here, but it's not a real one. It's from Chronos. I should get a sponsorship from Chronos. I love their knockoff watches. Their stuff is such high quality. The band is really where you notice that it's not a real Rolex, but the face, the weight, all of that stuff is beautiful on this watch. I only have a couple of like really nice real ones. I have a Breitling Navigator, and I have the Rolex, the gold Rolex that I got married in. It's actually like gold and brushed steel. It's like gold center, gold, whatever. I don't know what they call it, Jubilee, whatever. Ken Workshop says, HiFim and pricing makes me appreciate ZMF and Mod House more. Fair prices for great products. Yeah, and I think that's the pressure. That's the great thing about the pressure that competitive pricing and quality products brings. The Mod House is so good, and the ZMF Caldera is so good, it made people go, do I really need that SUSVARA anymore when I've got the ZMF? Incidentally, I wanted to mention this on the live show. I mentioned it elsewhere. That mod we did last week to this, I'm like squirrel today. That mod that we did live on the air last week, fabulous. Fabulous. I'm so excited about this headphone again. It just shaved a little bit of the top end off and made these things even better. It's such a great headphone. The Caldera. We did some surgery. If you weren't here last week, I did live installation of a filter called the Titan Mesh. It's got to have a name. That's what its name is. The Titan Mesh. It's made out of it's a little titanium screen and some felt that holds it in place. And you place it across the driver a certain way, and it just takes a little bit of the edge off the treble. And for somebody like me that struggles with tinnitus, a little bit less edge on that 8 to 10K range, somewhere in there, 6 to 10K range, much better. Ductile, how easy it is to make thin layer or thin cable. Okay. I missed this comment. I'm not going to go back, but I'll take your word for it. Okay. IMJ says, howdy, folks. Hey, IMJ. Cheers, brother. Welcome. Good to see you here, buddy. His name is Martin. Okay. He's the inventor of drag and drop. Hey, congrats. And I got some issues with you. Why can't I do it all the time on my laptop? Why does that pad stick all the time? No, I'm just kidding. Neil Snyder, yes, in China it's called the SUSVARA, a complete knockoff. Oh, jeez. Is that true? Is it true? That's great. They aren't charging more because of the silver. They're charging more because they think they can. Well, that's true. And I think the sales numbers what will tell the tale on that. If they have the sales that they're expecting, then they will have made the right choice. SUSVARA should be made by Meze. Look, I love having Meze out there because Meze is just shaking like. They're not the cheapest. Meze's not the cheapest. You know, there's a value proposition there. Like I don't think that they sound as good as they're priced generally. Meze Elite's really good, but I haven't heard the Empyrean 2, so I can't really comment about that. But their engineering and their design is so far ahead of everybody else. They're important in that they need to. I'm just shocked that HiFiMan didn't respond to the modern standard that is the Meze Empyrean Elite design. How do you not react to that? I don't know. The leap from OGHE6 headband to the SUSVARA is enormous. That's true. That original headband kill was dreadful. I absolutely agree. It was like a springy little. It was just like my Grado, my cheap Grados. My cheap Grados had the same band, basically. Ace of Spades, howdy, brother. Cheers. Unveiled is shipping with the black cable. What's the black cable? Because all I've ever seen is that hospital hose, that unbelievably bad hospital hose. It's the worst. Oh, Holly's coming in. Okay, yes, justified because it's better, not because it's $25 more expensive to make. Yeah, I get. That's the question. I just want everybody to, look. I hope it's the best headphone on the planet because that's great. When we got another new headphone, that's awesome. But I also think we need to question folks when they want $2,000 more than their last overpriced headphone. It wasn't overpriced though because people paid it. It's such a yin and a yang. It's such a push-pull. It's just like an amplifier. On the amp, being an all-in-one always concerns him. The Audio Valve Solaris was an amp with a big price tag, but was competent but not excellent at both dynamics and E-stats. And I think the LTA is the same way. I think that that 10. This is different. I don't know. I've heard the LT10. And I'm not linear tube audio is what I'm thinking of, but that they have that dual huge case, very expensive amp, does both electrostatics and dynamics. This is going to the talking about the Ray Samuels back here. All I can tell you is what I've heard so far. And you'll have a full review in very short order to parse over, where I do a deep dive into what I like and what I don't like, and what the improvements I thought could be made. All of that will come out in a full review. But I'll just say this amp is righteous. I mean, he went for it. There's no. I don't think he shortchanged anything, and I'm. Contemplating putting my money where my mouth is. I don't know how that happens yet. Working on a couple of possibilities. We'll see. But my Zähl HM1 is for sale if anybody's interested. $7,500. They're now selling for $9,000 new. This was bought in November. It's barely 6 months old. It's got no scuffs, no dings on it. Original box, original all this shit, the polishing cloth, everything. And $7,500, which is $1,500 off of new, and you don't have to wait for it. I think that's fair, but we'll see. If it doesn't sell, then I'll have to lower it. But I think I'm hoping that that's a reasonable price for it. It's all a guess, you know. It's like catching. There was one that just sold recently for $7,100 or $7,200, but it was all scratched and dinged up. So I'm like, well, this one's mint, and I'm just trying to save it because the more money I can save is the more money I can dump into the show. It's not like I'm profiting on this shit. I'm just trying to help the show out by getting the next thing that we're gonna get to play with around here. Right, these are all good. I love having these conversations. I don't take any of the you know, like if we're talking back and forth like this, it sometimes can get I think some folks take it as misconstrue. How do you say this? Misconstrue it, and they take it as like I'm not being argumentative at all. We're just throwing out topics back and forth. It's not. There's no, you know, energy here. It's just, I like to, you know, keep the conversation going. It's interesting. John Russ says, I wonder if they will compete with their top E stats. Yeah, I haven't, nobody's getting, and I haven't seen a single, like, well, maybe it's out there. I just haven't seen it though. Like a single, like, actual assessment, full-blown assessment of this headphone. And they're not in everybody's hands yet, I would assume, although I'm sure there's probably a few reviewers they've already got them in the hands of. I'd bet the house that Jude over there at Headphi's got a pair. Jude. It's all right, man. Cheers to you, brother. He's been doing it longer than all of us, so yeah, he's earned the right. In La Puente. Michael, wow. I'm Jason La Puente. That Ray Samuels amp. Yeah, I know, brother. I know. And it's so hypnotic. I was saying earlier in the show, I went hard on this ever since I opened the box and did the episode. And guys, I swear to God, I didn't touch the box until I opened it live for that episode, for the taping. I do that stuff live because I want you guys to see an honest impression, whether good or bad. I just want you guys to see it as it happens. I think there's an excitement to that, and there's an energy to that you don't get if it's staged. So I really do, like, I'll take my first reaction, even if it's, even if I open it and like the thing's in the wrong place and whatever, and it doesn't, it's like, you see it because I want you to see it. I want you to be with me on the ride. That's the fun of that episode. And that's why the unboxings are my favorite to do. Since I opened that box, this has been set up, and I had to figure out the feet, which I figured out since that unboxing episode. The feet were wrong. You'll get all this on the in the big review in 2 weeks. But I haven't set this thing aside. I've been listening to it constantly since I opened the box because it's that good. But I just set it aside as of yesterday. Last night was my last listening night on the B21 radar for a while, because where the focus is going back over here to this is the Aegis tube amp. It's good to be me right now to have all this stuff in here because this stuff all sounds phenomenal. I'm telling you, there's nothing bad about any of this. But my focus has shifted back to the Aegis because that's the next review I'm doing. In part because it's been here a while and I need to get it back to Zach to feel good about myself. Zach told me I can have this as long as I need it to do the review and whatever, but I'm trying not to take advantage of that, and I want to return it within a reasonable time frame. So I'm going to rush this through so I can get his Aegis amp back to him so he can send it to somebody else to review or do whatever he's going to do, and then we're going to go back to the B21 Raider for the review, so that I can get that back to Ray, because this is the only one. I'm dead serious. and this will get me to one of my corrections. This is the only one currently that's built. The chassis for the first 7, and I misspoke about this in my review. I said he's only planning on doing 7. That's not true. I have since learned that he's actually planning to build 20 of these amps. 20 of them. But there are only 7 ready to go. He's got 7 boards built. The first 7 are ready to assemble. He's waiting on these chassis to get to Chicago from California. Stupid Californians, we're really slow. There's going to be 20 of these ultimately. He's going to make 20 of them. That's the product run. So there's still time for anybody to get in on this. It's not like there's only going to be 7 and they're gone forever. There are going to be 20 of these. The first 7 are not, of those 4 I think are spoken for, and there might be a couple still available in this first run. But go fast, because we just dropped the episode yesterday and I think a lot of people saw it. There's like this one, I mean, I've got 1,400 views on that already. So, you know, some people just tune in and go, I hate you, and tune out though. So I do allow for that. Guys, I am not for everybody. I understand that. Okay. Harry Chad says, Michael, how you doing? I'm looking at the secondhand market for 1266 superconductor cable. Do you think it's worth the price? No. No, absolutely not. And I say this as a superconductor. I bought it because I wanted to check it out, and it's a cool cable. Guys, it's a cool cable. I'll show it. I shouldn't do whatever. It's like a commercial for frickin' Abyss. And I know how to get viewers up. I'm showing you all my butt. All right, here we go. So, this is a 6 meter superconductor cable from Abyss. And boy, am I stupid. You know. Now, Abyss will tell you that this thing makes all the difference in the world. But I'm telling you that I could do a blind taste test between this superconductor cable and this little basic CMF cable, and you're not going to tell the difference. There's no way you're going to tell. There's no difference. You're either making a connection or you're not. Now, that said, I know there are people who swear that cables make all the difference in the world. And to them, I say, I believe you. I believe you. I'm going to tell you that to me, they don't make a difference. I like them. I love a quality cable. I'm a sucker. I purchased this. This was $2,600 for a cable. It's back when the Director's Garage had money. Now we don't have money. So, yeah. I bought this. This is another like $2,500 cable. This is from Kimber. This is their Kimber Aegis whatever. It's like it's an 16 weave. It's a 16 weave cable down to 8. Right? Yeah. 16 down to 8. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, gorgeous cable. It's so not worth it. But yeah, I got suckered into buying. This is a big part of the reason that I will never, ever, ever be able to sell the 1266, because I might get, you might get $1,000 for this. There's a couple that are on Headfire right now. They're asking way too much money. They'll never get that. They shouldn't get that anyway. I'd get $1,000 for this if I was lucky. And the headphone is selling for, it's not selling for a lot right now. So, I have too much money into the Abyss system, and so that's why I say I'll probably never sell it, because I can't get enough out of it to make it worth my initial investment. But if anybody wants to make me an offer, feel free. I don't think you'll wow me with your offer though. But I do, and then I have the room stand the beautiful room stand that I've showed a few times on this show that holds it by its bridge, the proper way to store. Not even the Abyss stand holds their headphone the proper way. No, Harry, not worth the money. Sorry. But buy it if you want. Look, there are a lot of decisions I have made in this hobby that were not worth the money. And I just did it because it was cool or it was fun. The trade out I did to get the X9000 in here, ridiculously stupid, but I did it because it was a great story to tell. And I enjoyed the process, even as I was going, this is incredibly dumb. I did it. If you guys don't know that story, I traded this guy had an X9000 for sale, and I was trying to trade out. And I said, well, what can I pair with this to make it worth your while? And he said, well, I didn't want any money out of pocket. I was just trying to do it with equipment. And he said, well, I like the LCD5. I'm like, okay, fine. I could put that together. And he's like, you're still not there, though. This was years ago. So the Abyss was a much younger product at the time. It was still like a pretty hot headphone. And then he said, but you got to put something else on it. So I put on my Ferramore stack, which jumped about $2,000 more. And this came with the stand. It was for the X9000, which was $6,000. So I had to kind of get to that sort of, range. So the guy sent me I don't know why I was transposing that in my head suddenly, but whatever. Didn't eat enough today. So the guy sends me the X9000. I send him the LCD5 and the OR stack, which is the Hypsos plus the OR. Okay, which sells for about $2,000 on the gray market, not new. New, it's $3,000. Used, they were selling for about $2,000. You can pick them up for now. Pretty good deal, by the way, for a good amp. The problem was the location. He was in Singapore. Do you know how expensive it is to ship 3 big heavy boxes to Singapore? It was like $800 just for the shipping transaction. And it was equally expensive for him to send to me. But it was a fun trade to make, and I'm so happy I did it because I got the story and the X9000 and all that, but it was a dumb thing to do. So that's my point. Like, look, go do a dumb thing. What do I care? It's your money. I'll never tell you you were stupid for doing something because I do stupid all the time. So who am I to talk? Gilbert said he spotted an Easter egg in a very popular reviewer's video from the Munich high-end show a couple of days ago. A new own flagship amp called the A17. Well, I'm not familiar with Own's line, so I'm going to take your word for it. And why are you watching anything but the Director's Garage? Ace of Spades. Anybody have any recent new music recs? Man, Ace of Spades, I've been doing a lot of I've been going back. I've been doing a lot of older listening lately. I haven't been into the new stuff, but these guys have got some good recommendations. Long Season by the Fishbone. Oh, these are good. I'm going to copy these. Okay, Gil, Gene, thank you. I'll put them in my notes, show notes. Something to check out this week. It's hard when I'm reviewing, in review mode. I'm doing a lot of listening, which is what I'm doing now. I'm in that mode right now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Because I need to be listening to things that I know versus things that are new. So it's not a good time for me to listen to brand new stuff. Because I knew something that I'm unfamiliar with isn't going to help me with a review. So there you go. So yeah, I don't get a chance to listen to the new stuff right now. Very good. But these are all good, and thanks guys for your suggestions. Copied over and noted for my pleasure. But good question. Thanks, Ace Spades. Love that. For those who can't afford a Rolex, you can get a Tudor, also known as the Baby Rolex. Yep, excellent watch and more reasonably priced. It's actually owned by Rolex. The Tudor models are. And they did that as kind of like a gateway drug to get you to step up to Rolex someday. It's kind of smart. I said recent music. Oh, not what he's listening to. Okay. Neil Snyder says his HM1 is pristine, 6 months old, 1750. I think he's baiting me. I think he's baiting me. That's because I said I've listed my Zähl HM1. It's on Headphone right now. And it's also on US Audio Mart, which is usually where I drop stuff first. $7,500 will pick up the Zähl HM1, and I'm looking for something around $5,200 or so if I decide to sell the KJS SHV. Haven't made up that decision fully yet, and I haven't listed it anywhere. It's still like, do I really want to? This one is for the ages. Too easy. Yeah. And what a great amp too. I mean, look at this thing. Look at it. Guys, it's got meters. Meters on this thing. Chance, he says, hey director, I just called Ray. He said it's my turn. Here's my address. I gotta deliver it to, I'm gonna send it to Chance, and then I'll tell Ray, oh, you didn't tell me to send it to Atlanta. I think you're in Atlanta. Was that right? Did I remember that right? Anyway. Private, he has a pair of IRS beta speakers. Never heard a difference from cables. He could hear a difference from the moment he switched on the amp when it was running after an hour or so. Okay. Like I said, I believe whatever people hear is what they hear. I have yet to been able to like tell two different cables apart. As long as they're making good contact, I'm good to go. Looking to buy a used Lavery Grand 8-core cable. Found for a good price, but has to be. I can't even pronounce that, Ace of Spades. And I'm going to send this. I've been talking about this for weeks. I just haven't had a chance to do it. This was the custom cable from Norn, and I'm going to contact Trevor, and I'm going to try and get this thing re-terminated for probably for a SUSVARA. I'm guessing I'm probably going to put 3.5s on this. So you're going to be 3.5s for ZMFs, but I have a lot of custom ZMF cables, so it makes sense probably to do that for make that SUSVARA friendly. Private, can't believe a great cable can make a difference, but not if it's 6 meters long. He can believe it's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is an exceptionally long cable. But I wanted a longer one because of the distance to my amp. I didn't want. My problem is something too short and I can't extend it, and then I'm yanking my head back. So, gotta go to sleep here. 1:25. Thanks a lot, everybody. It's just fun. Hey, thanks a lot. Cheers, and thanks for stopping by. Martin, right? You said your name. I'm not, guys. I'm going to apologize right now. If I call you private next week, it's because I forgot. Just remind me that you're Martin. I just forget. I'm horrible with names until it's like deep seated. I'm Jay's been deep into IEMs lately. Just got the Fat Frequency Grand Maestro and absolutely adore those. This is after trying the Kanpur CP622B and For Audio Radeon 6. And I saw somebody on Headphone had listed the Jewel for a very reasonable price. I'm like, that was a $5,000-$6,000 headphone 6 months ago. I'm like, I would be looking at that if I was looking for an IEM. I already have my next IEM purchase in my head. I just have to execute it. I'll even tell you what it is. I guess I'm not even going to keep it secret. I'm going to have, I don't have the money for it yet. But I have the idea, and he knows about it. I'm gonna have John Moulton make me a custom pair of Sultans, because the Sultan is my favorite IEM of all time, and I don't want them custom shaped. I want them like universal, but I want them out of custom material, because they do unbelievable stuff, and they've been looking for me for the right piece of stock to make my Sultan. And I told them what I'm looking for. It's like a really wild design, and they've done them in the past. They just haven't had any of that stock come through. So I'm trying to get that done. That's something that I will do in the next year or so. It may not be tomorrow. I've got other plans, but and I'll pay for that. I'm going to pay him full price for it. It's just something I want, and I respect what they do there. It's just the headphone that, of everything I've tried, at the end of the day, it's the headphone I keep going back to as far as that's the sound that I want. And that's not to diminish the Viking Ragnar. It's not to diminish these at all. These are by far that I've heard the most detailed set, like the technically proficient. These are technically the best headphones IEMs that I've heard. And I've heard a lot. I haven't heard everything, but I've heard a lot. But I'm just telling you, that's where these sit. That's why they still are with me. But I want that custom Sultan badly. Hey Jen, sorry I'm late. I got a chance to listen to the new SUSVARA at the show, and it was very impressive. He was also very impressed by the Abyss DZ, probably his favorite headphone from them. Interesting. I got a review over the weekend from somebody who's heard it. Oh, I think I skipped some things. All right, I'll skip back in a second, but I'll finish Hipster's comment first. Probably his favorite. I have heard mixed reviews on the DZ. I think that 1266 TC is still the best thing I've heard from them, but I want to review a Diana TC. And I don't have an in with Abyss, and I'm not sure that they like this show. I kind of think they don't, even though I've said nice things about their headphones. But I would love to. That's a headphone that I really want to get in here. I want to try the Abyss Diana TC someday. That's a goal. Let's jump back. Nephilim says he's going to be in budget-fi heaven soon. He just clicked the checkout button, bought a FiO FT5. He's really looking forward to it. Now is that a DAP? You guys got to understand, I don't know all these product numbers. FiO FT5. Nope, it's a headphone. All right. It just shows what I know. Well, congrats on that. That's awesome. Nothing you're gonna. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. I don't know enough about them, but I will take your word for it. Looks good. It's APOS certified, whatever that means. Here, I can share this with you. Stand by. Oh, I got to show off my other new thing for this week. So this is what he's talking about. FT5. Good price. Nice, friendly price. Oh my. Lots of things. It's got lots of things. Planar magnetic. There you go. Good specs. Nice. There's a driver. Very cool. Open back design. Very nice. Well, congratulations, Nephilim. Now we know what you have. You'll notice that I've had no problems with my keyboard delaying, and that's because, boys, I went old school. See this right here? Kids, this is what we call a wire. I had enough. I finally had enough, fellas. And this is what we call a wire. I went back to a wired keyboard. I had it with the Bluetooth just jumping off on the stream, and like I'd hit the spacebar button, and then it's got to resync to Bluetooth, and I'd hit it again, and then I solved the problem, boys. This is what used to connect our phone to the world. It's called a wire, for those of you who were born in 1995 or sooner. I know, this is a strange concept to you. We actually used to have to wire things together. Hipster, I see you, man. Hipster, please keep talking. They want the report, Hipster. Neil Snyder says he has an Aun S17 Pro amp. Absolutely fantastic. For the price, $699, pure Class A heat. Somebody asked about this too. Is the Ray Samuels a Class A amp or a Class AB amp? And the answer is it is a Class AB amp that runs most of the time, nearly 100% of the time, in Class A. In fact, the word from Ray's rep was, if the amp should happen to dip to AB, you will have probably blown a driver or your hearing. The threshold is very high. So that's what he said. Anyway, so it's technically Class AB that runs in Class A all the time. J4Che, did you ever listen to the Atrium Closed? How does it compare to the Atrium Open? No, I haven't heard the Atrium Closed. I've got the Caldera Closed in-house. And I'll tell you, I wish I had this in focus. You can't see it. But this combination of the Atrium, this beautiful retro design, next to this beautifully retroed out amp. Oh my God, they were made for each other. It's just amazing. Amazing. Great stuff. Great stuff. But no, I haven't heard the Atrium Closed yet. Just haven't gotten them, or hasn't sent them to me. I do have the Caldera Closed. I'm going to be doing a review of that in about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on schedules and all that shit. Coming soon, though. Coming soon is a full review of the... My initial reaction was I really like them. It's an easy buy for me. But I'm going to talk more about their properties and stuff in an upcoming video, as it were, for a regular video. This is the live show. We have the live show. We have the tape show. The tape show is the fancy one with all the bells and whistles and annoying shit that people hate me for. Diana DZ impresses the hell out of me. Dave M. Scalar HM1 delivers incredible clarity and detail on the DZ. Big fan. I am Jay. He didn't spend a lot of time with the MR. The MR did not impress me at all, so I hope the DZ is better. So comfortable. Yes, he was baiting me. Oh, yeah, I knew it. That's awesome, Hipster. Definitely to have to try the DZ at Can Jam for sure. I'm going to be amp hunting because I don't know if you've realized it yet or if I've just subtly turned it into this. It's been amp season at the Director's Garage. Like most of the major things that have come through here lately have been amps. And I don't know that it's by design or if it's the energy I'm putting out in the universe, but I'm really interested in amps lately. And so I've got some really good ones here. So it's just exciting to hear what these different things do to the sound, and I can't hide my enthusiasm for these things. When I hear something good, you kind of know it. If I hear something that maybe not for me, you'll kind of see it in my face, but there you go. Nephilim says FT5 is a beauty, has the makings of to be a classic, and comes with accessories it comes with. They're insane. That's the one thing that all those Chi-Fi products do, man. They accessorize the hell out of those things. They always come in a banging case. They come with like extra cables and connectors and all the shit. They knock it out of the park in the accessories game. Ken Workshop says wired keyboards are great, especially mechanical ones. Not great, I suppose, for video, but I love mechanical keyboard with ceramic keycaps. I have a few of those. The clackers, the old clacker keyboards, and I have like modern, because there's a company that makes them. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I bought 2 of them, and they're great, but they're incredibly noisy. Can't use them. They're not practical. This is just a McAlley It's not great build. It's kind of cheap feeling. I was using these, which are robust and very well built. I'm sure they're all made in China. I don't know who makes these, but the last two, well, they don't take water well. Any kind of like moisture at all gets into this thing, it totally destroys them. That's number one. And number two, this one, for some reason, had real issues with Bluetooth. I'm just trying to see if there wasn't a film on there I was supposed to remove, was there? This one just does, it just would constantly lose Bluetooth connection. And I understand that, you know, sometimes they power down Bluetooth to save some energy, because it is battery. I get it, but not like that. And so I went back to old school wired, and guys, my life has been improved. It was funny because I was working late at night and trying to finish that last episode up, and I was on like on Monday night, and I just I'm like, why am I doing this? Just go buy it. I'm going back to an old keyboard. So I pulled out my rickety old Mac one. This one is great, but it needs to be cleaned. This is an official Avid keyboard. It's got the Avid logo on it. Avid is the editing system I used to use exclusively. I now use DaVinci Resolve. I've stopped using Avid after 30 plus years of exclusively an Avid editor. I dropped Avid as a platform and switched to DaVinci Resolve for a lot of reasons I could go into if you guys happen to be interested in it. But this was my old Avid keyboard. I just pulled this out and cut the rest of the show on the Avid keyboard, ignoring all the colors on it because none of the colors match up to what it actually does. Well, that's okay. I had it by feel anyway. But yeah, and then I ordered this on Amazon and it came the next day, and I've been very happy ever since because shit's actually working for a change. Who knew? Okay. That's my keyboard rant. I guess we're getting down to the last couple here, and then we'll say goodbye. Damn, was there anything else to talk about today? Was there anything I missed? Ray Samuels thing dropped yesterday. That's been doing well. The Aegis is coming up. Caldera Close coming up. We talked about the new headphone from 64 Audio. I guess that's pretty much it. All right, let's just go through the last few of these, and then we'll say goodbye for the week. I like spending time with you guys. That's all. Just looking for any more topics. Got the The-Audio Mark III unopened for sale for $850. Oh, okay. Neil's clearing house. Nephilim says the FT5 is a beauty, hasn't made this be a classic. We talked about that. Wired keyboards are great. We talked about that. Bought a FiO M17 and M23. Listened to both. Returned the M17. AKM chipset on the M23 is next level refined sound. Don't know about that. Amen. Yeah, more Atrium talk. I know, guys. When I tell the story, and you'll hear this in a little bit next week, but this to me right here, I'll bring it by my head so it's in focus. This to me was the headphone. This to me was the headphone that turned it around. Maybe not turned it around because the trajectory was going up, but this was the turning point, I think, in the history of ZMF. I think that when the books are written about the contributions ZMF has made to the headphone industry and the headphone world, this will be the turning point. This was the point at which ZMF grew up, I think. I think their first tipping point was the Verite. The Verite like put them on the map, I would say. Very important headphone. Very important headphone. This one was where they really grew up. This is where they came of age. This is where because the quality of the manufacturing jumped between the Verite, which had beautiful cups, no question, but the quality of the manufacturing of the grills, the tolerances, the polishing, all the hinges, all of that, exponentially improved. The headband exponentially improved with the Atrium. This is where this was the most, because there were, as great as the cups on the Verite were when you bought it new. Now they've since revised and probably moved this hinge system into that headphone. When I first got my Verite open, there was a part of me that thought, wow, the finish on these cups are just phenomenal. But it feels like a collection of parts. Like it feels like they bought a bunch of hinges and stuff off the shelf and kind of fit them onto a headphone. But on this one, look, there's tapering, and like there's all sorts of little things going on. It's just a post on the Verite with maybe a little screw on the top of the cap on top of the thing. The nuance of the how much ZMF grew up, and the only knock I still have on them, Zach, I haven't even told Zach this, but he probably saw it in a review, is they got to find a way to tuck this little flap down here. Look at that. Well, look at me. I'm a end of a headphone flap. This needs to tuck. It's sloppy. Everything else about this, so polished and lush and feels great. So good. Anyway. Atrium talk, just for Nephilim. Michael, the police are releasing a 6 CD box set of the album Synchronicity. Do we really need that? I was just thinking about this today. Synchronicity was their most popular album, by far. They sold more of Synchronicity than they sold anything else. My argument is that this is their best album, musically. It was more sonically interesting. They went to more interesting places. There's some stuff that's poppy on it, but it's not. I don't know. It's just it's less commercial. They still had an edge here. To me, this is like life's rich pageant for REM. Was that one before they became crazy successful? The interesting thing is that after Synchronicity, the band broke up because they hated each other. Sting, the megalomaniac, and all that. Hell of a singer, hell of a songwriter. Hard to get along with, I guess, back in the day. Or at least they all didn't get along so well. Hipster Cow says he got to spend a lot of time with the Shangri-La Senior. Incredibly detailed, but not a fan of the tuning. Too bright for him. Well, that's kind of a common trait among a lot of high feminine stuff. I'm actually not too surprised that you said that. E-Stats hips, yeah. And Nephilim says E-Stats hipster tend to make you feel like you're being shot out of a cannon with all the air and detail they throw at you. It takes a bit of time for your brain to settle in. Yeah, that's a bit true. But I also think that they're a little more picky on type of music that you throw at them. They're not going to be my first choice for rock, but if it's stuff that's coming with natural instruments, there's no keyboards, meaning there's no synthesizers, anything like that, they tend to do better because the detail retrieval matters, and you don't have to worry about the bass as much, like missing an electric bass down low thumping away or whatever. But I tend to like them with things like jazz, where the bass drum doesn't play as prominent a function as the snare. And the bass is string as instead of electric. So I'm talking about like more vintage jazz, because a string bass has a more limited range and it sounds more natural, and it stays in the natural timbre or pocket of where E-Stats play back. Well, still get some nice bass effects out of an E-Stat. It's not, the planers do it better, and dynamics do it better, especially biocellulose. All right, last one, guys, and I guess we'll call it a day. Haha, that's true. He used to be a huge STAX fanboy, but he's really moved away from E-Stats the last couple of years, addicted to bass. Well, yeah, hipster, we're in the same boat, but I still go back to E-Stats, and that's the exciting part about this B21 Raider for me, for me. The B21 Raider is exciting because you can go between both sides very quickly. You can keep both headphones plugged in, and with one little flip of a switch, you're going from electrostatic to dynamic. That's pretty attractive. That's pretty attractive. As opposed to having all these separate components that each do something different, you know? So good. All right, guys, let's see. Oh, that's understandable. As Michael said, E-stats are not all genre music friendly. I don't consider them so. I think there's some people that would argue with me because there's always people who hear things differently. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that's why we have options and choices, my friends. That's why we have options and choices. Okay. I'm going to start wrapping this show up, boys, and we're going to get out of here for the week. We've got a new episode coming. I don't know if it's going to be next week. I haven't shot this episode. I haven't finished the review yet. That's not looking good for next Tuesday drop, but you never know. Maybe I'll get inspired. Maybe I'll get a bunch of free time and can work on an episode. We'll see. Okay, we're doing the right things. Yeah, tip your waiters and waitresses on your way out the door. Make sure you recycle those bottles and cans. And have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you guys, before you know it. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's get drunk.